set all the settings of the camera, like the recording settings or the aperture or shutter speed. And we can also control whether we want to take a picture or take a video. And we can also watch back all the footage that we took, even while we're still in the air. And those amazing footages are created by the 3-axis stabilization system that the camera is on. That is one of DJI's unique selling points. And even in high wind conditions, the image will stay perfectly stable.
I think we need to demonstrate that because it's way too common flying today.
Yes, it is. And with the GPS functions and all the other sensors that are in the Phantom can keep itself very stable and return to the same spot, even if it's hit by something or gusted winds. It will return to where it was in exactly the same spot and even the same direction.
So all of this makes it truly easy to use, which is really the key for the Phantom line, is that you obtain high quality video and photos, even in a very easy to use, out of the box solution. And again, 3 models, so there is a Phantom literally for every need, from entry level up to prosumer and even professional.
Yes, and of course flying is very, very addictive, and once you're flying and you're seeing cool things from the air, you'll probably forget that your battery is draining and that your battery gets to a critical state. Well, don't worry, the Phantom will constantly measure its battery warnings and measure the distance it's from home, so it will warn you in time when your battery is getting too low and tells you to return to home. And the return to home feature is one of the other features that's in the Phantom 3. The return to home feature can either save you when the transmitting signal is lost or when the battery is getting too low, but you can also just activate it manually by the button on the remote. What it does is that it will at first climb to the altitude that you've set via the app, then it will wait for a few seconds, it will turn its nose to the direction of its home point, the point where it took off, and then in a few seconds it will start to fly to the point where it actually took off, hover there for a few seconds, and then it will start to descend. And as soon as it touches the ground, it will shut off its motors and cut the power completely so it has landed safely. And this has all been done by just the push of a button, or even when the signal is lost completely without any help, and it does that completely automatically.
And the question usually comes up, okay, well that's great, but what if I'm in a boat or a moving object? What happens then? Because if you're in a boat and you're 5 miles from where you started from, you don't want it returning to home. Well, luckily there's something called dynamic return to home. And instead of returning to your original home point, it will return to the home point that is continually updated by where the remote is. So as you're holding the remote, it knows that that is the new home point. So again, you know, DJI has multiple generations now of product. And the whole point is that it's designed to make it as user-friendly and safe to fly to produce the highest picture quality that is on the market. And the great thing is that we have, as I said, a diverse group of products. So there's 3 Phantoms, and there is the big brother of the Phantom, which is the Inspire. So the Inspire, which you will see, is the mainstay of the professional market. And we have broadcasters who use this on a daily basis for news gathering, for different content acquisition, as well as for production companies and feature films.
Yes, and the Inspire 1 is currently fitted with our brand new X5 ZenMuse gimbal. It's the brand new camera that we've released just 2 days ago. It's based on the Micro Four Thirds principle, and it will be available in a Pro version and a RAW version, which will record separately on an SSD that will be on top of the camera. And the Inspire is the bigger brother of the Phantom 3 and also offers the same features like auto takeoff or GPS hold. And once the aircraft takes off, after about 1 or 2 meters, you'll immediately see one of the biggest differences compared to the Phantom, and that's that it lifts its legs up. And that not only enables it to be more stable because all the weight is below the motors, but it also offers you to have a full 360-degree view with the camera that's underneath. Combining that 360-degree view with a second remote enables you to have a separate camera operator controlling the camera while the pilot can focus on its flying. And the dual remote setup also offers an HDMI output. And the HDMI output can not only be used to just view it on a bigger monitor for ease of flying, but it can even be used to live stream. Actually, this flight is now being live streamed down to our booth in Hall 9 using one of the portable TVU backpacks and just an HDMI cable and one of our remotes.
We talked about out of the box and one piece being key and into transportability. And although there are certainly larger flying platforms, and we make them as well, that will hold other cameras, whether it be a DSLR or an Alexa Mini or a RED, this is the first time that there is a one-piece built-in camera, plug-in camera to the bottom, one-piece solution that has RAW. So the X5, which is a Micro Four Thirds system with interchangeable lenses, supports either 4K or RAW, which the RAW version will be out in late 2015.
Yes, so one of the other cool products that we just released is DJI Focus. A DJI Focus is a remote color focus system originally designed for use on a Ronin or any camera with a separate lens, and includes a motor so you can use your remote focus as you're normally used to. But in addition to that, you can also connect the remote focus to the remote of your Inspire, and that enables you to remotely focus the actual X5 ZenMuse gimbal while you're flying in the air wirelessly.
And you'll notice that even through the stunt maneuvers showing how nimble and flexible the flight dynamics are, that camera gimbal stays completely horizontal and completely still on the bottom. So that certainly in normal flight conditions, you will have an extremely usable, smooth, and jitter-free picture.
Yes, and the X5 ZenMuse is available with a standard 15mm lens that's supplied by DJI, but you can also fit the 12mm Olympus lens that is formerly used with the GH4 on one of our ZenMuse series, and there will also become more different lenses and different sizes available in the future for use on the X5 ZenMuse.
So we talked about, how flying the drone gives you a different perspective, and how in the past you needed to use a helicopter to get the kind of shots, and even shots that you couldn't get with a helicopter. For example, flying backwards through tree branches, something that really gives you first-person perspective of your environment. Well, if all of us look at the pedestal there, all we see is a pedestal, but from the air, we can see that there is a message on the top: DJI is awesome. So, it's how we change our view of the world, and we see this in news gathering, we see it in all sorts of production environments, as well as different business verticals. So drone technology right now is being used in everything from news gathering to agriculture to production films to transportation and all different types of business verticals, because for the first time, truly, we've opened up the limits of how we acquire content.
Yes, and a lot of people think that you have to be at really high altitude and really large distances to be able to see something cool from the air. But as you can see with the pedestal, this is only 2.5 meters high, and you can even already get completely different perspective than you can get from the air, than you can get from the ground. If you want to land, the Inspire has the same return to home function and auto land functions as the Phantom 3. But of course, with the camera on the bottom, you can land it like this. Don't worry, if you forget to put down the landing gear, at approximately 60 centimeters, the system will automatically lower its landing gear and prevent you from landing till it's completely down, so you won't be able to land the camera and damage it in any way.